let's talk about you as a performer a little bit for a minute. So you, right from those early days, you're someone who has kind of shown a commitment to performing live compared to like a lot of people. Obviously, you've kind of gone solely down the DJ route and things like that. What is it about performing electronic music live that has always appealed to you?
I think originally there was maybe 9 or 10 house records that were available. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and play. I might as well make my own stuff, and like it was nice when I was like younger, like we do like this cutting and scratching type stuff. So it was almost like a performance anyway. So there was actually just playing a record, like going play, was a little bit like, and then like doing it because like before I was doing as I was entering into the drum machine thing, was doing this like kind of DJ act with like there was two more of us. Was a rapper, me, and this other DJ, and we had this group called the Scratch Beat Masters, and there was like me, DJ Ski, on one turntable, and then like Davey C was on the other turntable, and we had MC Tunes at the front like rapping, and like I would be cutting like the bass drum, and like Davey C would be cutting the snare drum or something, and we would do all these kind of routines and like start mixing in a little bit, but the rapper would be rapping over the top, telling everyone how good we were. But yeah, so like I went from that basically to like drum machines. So the actual thing of like just like beat matching and mixing, we kind of thought like we'd surpassed that. We didn't, but like we thought we'd surpassed that in a way. So I kind of always wanted to do like this live thing from then. So like by '87, I'd had my old setup like ready, and like I was going out and doing a few different gigs and like helping out with like 808 State to do some showing them how to do some live stuff too.
So like, how were you actually performing with those classic machines back in those days? Like, what were you like? Is in terms of like physically on stage, what would you do with them? Were you like programming? Were you sort of tweaking?
Yeah, I was programming and tweaking. I was like basically I would set up like one main beat, and like from there I could get the maybe the accent to talk to an SH-101, and then I would have the 303 basically maybe do something that was kind of coordinating with the SH-101, maybe put some claps in, like a clap to basically to guide everything, and then use the other SH to create like a nice kind of melody over the top, and then just basically kind of try and get everything to talk. Like I called it talking, like we're tweaking the sounds, and so I'd basically try and get them to talk to each other, kind of thing. Like on Voodoo Ray, I had like two SH-101s kind of talking at the same time, which created like this weird kind of tone, which like I learnt later on is called heterodyning, when you create two kind of waveforms that create like a phantom kind of thing. So you could have all these phantom melodies going on and swimming around and doing all sorts of other things, and then you bring in delays and create, you can get like so much magic going on at this, but what you had to do is make sure that you didn't get too lost, because you look up and everyone's like that. Like, where's he going? Kind of thing. So, you'd have to kind of think of the dance floor, because otherwise you'd end up getting lost, But it was like a kind of early crude form in a way of like what a modular system would be like now. I suppose you could do a lot more now with the modular stuff, but yeah, back then it was like I had like a section of like maybe some effects in the end, and basically like these basically machines that you could just like tweak as you were going along. There was no real kind of main tune at first until I started to work with 808 State, and then we learned how to kind of sequence things in in time and stuff like that. But I was basically just going along and doing like as at first as crazy as possible, doing like crazy wild sounds, and the wilder the sounds, I thought it was the better. You know.
You mentioned before having like guitar effects and effects pedals that you run stuff through. Was that part of the live show? And like if
yes,
and were there any like particular like pairings, like effects that you found that worked amazingly on like the 808 or the 909 or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of would mimic some of the things I would hear from, like, and by then I was kind of combining what I was getting from Chicago and Detroit in my own kind of little way. So it was like I was getting Detroit, Chicago kind of crossover in my own little thing. So I actually liked Derek May and these guys were doing with hi-hats with like a flanger. So I would put a flanger on the hi-hats and like reverb and stuff like that. Chorus on the bass was really nice. I used to like putting chorus on bass and stuff like that, and just like treating stuff with delay and like making like, you know, even I do it even like now, just tapping out, you know, like delays and stuff like that would make like this other pattern. So like you would only have to use like a really simple element and it would create like this whole kind of movement. And I think so. Like I was basically I was getting into that type of thing, and I suppose it would start to get really dubby and kind of strange at some points. And like claps and stuff like that, big snares, big reverbs on snares and claps. I used to like putting reverbs on. So like I'd have these things kind of set up on little kind of, you know, like they were going through like auxiliaries or whatever by the end of it.
Tell me a bit about what you're using when you perform these days. So last time I saw you play a few years ago, I think you were effectively kind of DJing with 2 copies of Reason.
Yeah.
Is that still what you use?
That's at the kind of heartbeat of what I'm using still.
Yeah. So tell me about like why Reason and why playing it like that, and what you're using those for, like.
Because I mean, like basically the music or the sounds have become putty. It doesn't. I mean, I'm so used to using that that like I can create like anything from, even like when they've updated it. They've it's like for me they did too much in a way, and then I realized that it doesn't use so much CPU, or it didn't. It was slightly bigger, and then they went on top of it, and then they basically stole the solid state Logic desk and put it inside, which is like my desk, man. It was like, you know, wow, why did you do that? Now I can't leave you alone. Like, it's impossible for me to jump to Fruity Loops or to anything else because like there's an SSL, you know, so I can create the sounds I want, and then like I could like shape them in the way that I want with like this machine with everything inside. So basically, I just used it as I used it for that. You know, and I still do. But then I started to add like other elements, basically, because people like to see the works and stuff like that, and also I like to add a little bit of edge to something. So I started to bring some of the analog circuit behavior machines from Roland, like some of the boutique things, because they fit, you know, in the box, and they, you know, like if the customs want to, like, you know, break them or whatever, I can get another one.
How do you find those compared to obviously someone who's used the original things extensively? Like how close do they sound and B, like the feel of like using them compared to the original hardware?
I mean, like I get all this stuff with people, like with the feel and all that. Once you're in the music, you know, I mean, I don't care if that's the button or that's the button, or, you know, I don't care if I've got my eyes closed and like that thing is like changing when I'm moving, then I don't care what it is. Seriously, and if it's moving and if it changes to how I want it to sound, I do not care what it is. But I mean, I get the whole thing with like the price of the old drum machines, and there is a story for the 808. But like a lot of people kind of have thrown a lot of the. I mean, I don't really want to be selling Roland, but like it's like this Japanese company who kind of have, obviously from the manual of the 303, they don't like have a really spot on view of English. So when they came up with this thing, analog circuit behavior, basically everyone just thought it was digital.
Yeah.
So they'd be, oh, it's digital. So they think you just sampled like a digital sound and plonked it in the machine. Like, but what they've done is like, which I thought is really clever. They've taken like the actual circuitry from these old machines and digitized and put that in as a digital reference, or no, as a digital kind of circuitry inside this box.
Yeah.
So you can get basically this same sound. Unless, I mean, I don't know. Maybe what I should try and do is encourage people to turn up to the club with an oscilloscope and a little microphone, so they can actually
oscilloscopes in clubs.
Yeah. So you can, or maybe you should just put an oscilloscope at the front, and then like, but like, I mean, for me anyway, even if it was just digital, like it's impossible for me to bring the original machines on tour with me or anything anymore, because the price of them, and I get hassle from customs trying to explain to them that this, like the machine that you just like screwed apart, you just screwed it apart and didn't put it back together. I mean, like they lose screws on purpose. I don't know. I mean, seriously, they. So I always want to ask, like like these other people who were traveling with machines and stuff. How do they do it? I mean, do they just hire the machines where they go? But anyway, so I started to use the ACB, which like is a godsend for me, like the analog circuit behavior machines, because they help me out. They really, I mean, so I can basically perform in the box and out of the box at the same time. Usually, I don't use the machines like connected to the computer. I use them separate. So I have to basically make sure the tempos are the same and everything, and like.
Is that kind of similar to how you were actually like using original things back in the
days? I was using Roland sync to basically sync like some of the machines together, like the 808 and the 303 were like DIN synced together. The trigger was basically on time coming out of the clap and ascent and the cowbell. That was all. I mean, basically, it's like I was saying earlier on. It's like what do you call it? The modular. It's basically So it's similar to like the modular thing, but like with like I keep the computers kind of separate in a way to the synths.
Yeah.
I don't know for what reason. I mean, some people kind of integrate them inside and do stuff, but I like to have stuff that's outside the box. So like I can like basically do crazy shit, or like if some like serendipity happens. So like I've got mainly structured stuff happening inside the box, and then unstructured stuff happening outside the box. So
tell us a little bit, because you've got something here today from your setup. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how this fits into your setup, basically.
This I mean, like this is a T8, which is basically like the smallest Roland kind of machine at the moment. It's like a boutique. It's kind of not a boutique. It's what do you call it? Compact IRA.
They call them.
IRA compact. Yeah, which basically it kind of mimics like a few different machines, actually. Well, little bits of each machine. So you got like a little bit of the 303 in there. You got a little bit of the 808, and you've got a little bit of the Is it TR606? Yeah, I think that's inside there. And then you've got a reverb and a delay. Yeah, I think it's like a delay, and that basically that's what I mean. Like I was using that in like 1986, 87, kind of thing, but like on like a big table like this size. So I mean, for someone like me, this is like a dream. This is amazing. For someone who wasn't born then, it's like size of my phone, innit? It's like rubbish. But for me, that's I mean, like, and I'm afraid I'm going to say I'm really selfish. And when it comes to all this stuff, like if I was to follow everyone down their little trails, I would have put wooden sides on the side of this, like, and started to do. But I'm into electronic music, and like I've been into electronic music for nearly 40 years now, like and like I was influenced from electronic jazz music, electronic funk music, and also later on when I moved to Germany, electronic German music. And like ambient music from all sorts of different places, and you know, like, and I get it where there's different fashions, and you know, you've got like people doing different things from all sides of the earth now within electronic music. But you know, like as someone who's like hardcore, I'm hardcore electronic and dance and all. I like a bit of, like to move my. But anyway, so. Do you want me to?
Yeah, go for it. So tell us a
bit?
little bit about how you would work with this in a live setting and
So
like what you've got going on.
It might be a bit boring in a way, but like I would basically start with maybe just ambient. Thank you. Maybe I would start with like just that 303 thing, just basically because people recognize it. And it wouldn't be so kind of, it would depend. I mean, like if I was on, like, you know, after DJ Boise, you know what I mean, I would probably kind of try and start with like a bass drum and a snare just to kind of keep the energy. But like if I was starting in a room there was no music or anything, I would kind of try and create like a kind of space with the sound, and then like from there, without being too intrusive, build on that. And you know, kind of, I don't know if it's. Did we do a sound check?
I think so. That's coming out, yeah.
So I'm going to slow the tempo of it now. And it's kind of it's got a delay on it actually. This is analog circuit behavior. So like what you're hearing is it's a digital sound in a way, but the sound is coming from digital circuitry. So the circuitry is actually mimicking the circuitry of the actual TB303. I'm not going to turn it up too loud because it won't be able to hear us. And then I think I would try some of the percussion somehow. I'm going to randomize the bass because it's getting a bit too, you know. all this is coming from this machine basically, and it's